My name is Kirsten Fiscus, and I'm a breaking news reporter with the Tennessean and USA Today Network. They moved us from our holding room in the prison at 9:46 to the parole board. And then from there, at 10:17, we moved to the witness chamber. At 10:19, the lights went off, and we kind of sat in silence. Nichols' sister was present in the room with us, and she was very emotional about what was about to happen. At 10:24, we could hear movement in the chamber, and then the mic turned on and they did a mic check, and then we could kind of hear his spiritual advisor talking with Nichols very softly. At 10:25, the blinds opened and his spiritual advisor was on his left side. We had a view of Nichols from the right. His arms were outstretched. He had a sheet pulled up to about his belly button, and he was wearing a yellow prison uniform, and he had his black glasses on. His hands were covered by the sheet, but we could see that he had an IV in his right arm just below the crook of his elbow. And then from there, tubes flowed from his body to the wall behind him. They asked if he would like to give any last words at 10:25, and you've already heard them, but I'll repeat them, to which he said, "To the people I've harmed, I'm sorry. To my family, know that I love you. To my friends, I love each one of you. Beyond that, I know where I'm going, so I'm ready to go home." At 10:26, his spiritual advisor leaned down and said he was going to read to him from the Bible and read some prayers. And at one point, he commented that he was probably going to get emotional while he did it. Several times, his spiritual advisor did choke up, and he did let out a couple sobs. Nichols was tapping, it looked like he was tapping his right foot. As this was going on, he was reading his spiritual advisor at 10:28. Again, got emotional as he read to him, and Nichols nodded his head in affirmation. And then they moved to the Lord's Prayer, in which Nichols repeated the Lord's Prayer with his spiritual advisor. At 10:29, I noted that Nichols nods and he's blinking, he's still breathing. And then at 10:30, his breath really quickened. He got very deep breaths, and he groaned and he blew out air out of his mouth a couple of times, moving his mustache like this twice. And then at 10:31, I noted that his breath slowed almost to the point where there were no obvious signs of breath. I could not see his chest rising and falling anymore. At 10:32, a little door in the wall opened, and they put out what I think is a white rock in the door. And then about 5 minutes later, they closed the blinds. In the meantime, at 10:36, I noted that his face had gotten really bright red during the process, and at 10:36, he kind of paled to a purple. And then at 10:37, the blinds went down, but the mic was left on. And at 10:39, I noted that there was movement, and you could hear on the mic, and that there were some sniffles, who I presume was his spiritual advisor. And then out of thin air, there was a man who just said 10:39, gave no indication of what that was, presumably time of death. And then a different voice came on over the mic and said the sentence has been carried out, and asked the witnesses to leave. And from there, we left the room.